Jeremy Corbyn came across as amiable and idealistic, yet perhaps a little shifty when it came to policy detail and talking about his own past. Whereas with Theresa May, she's came across as patriotic, professional, but a little uncomfortable when it came to addressing aspects of her record on changing her mind, and a little remote perhaps as well. So we didn't necessarily learn too much, but in the context of the tragic events of last week, I think this was very much an effort by both sides to reset the campaign and start on ground that they were comfortable on.
Well, one person who really wants to reset the campaign is Theresa May, because the Conservatives, they've been sliding in the polls. Looking at the latest Survation polls, they only give her a 6-point lead. Just how reliable are these polls really? Because just 2 months ago, we looked at a 20-point lead. We know that French polls have proven to be quite reliable, but we know, given the UK's poor history when it comes to polling, when it comes to the 2015 elections and Brexit, do we place any trust in these?
I think there's been a lot of investigation into the accuracy of polling in the UK, methodology changes. The really interesting stuff coming out is the seat level campaigns we've seen. Lord Ashcroft has done some work on this. And what we find there is that, yes, in national shares, Labour has done remarkably well since the start of the campaign. But if you look at where Labour is particularly vulnerable, you look at some of the Northern Midlands seat where their historic base, perhaps alienated over their lack of a clear line on Brexit, whether they've gone to UKIP or they're going to go straight to the Conservatives, that's a key target area for Theresa May. And the majority in those seats for Labour is small enough that if those people shift, it could mean the difference between a small majority and a really massive majority for Theresa May.
Willem, do you want to weigh in on the polls?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Alex about Brexit. He brought it up there, and last night clearly that was a topic of conversation for both leaders. I wonder what you think the Brussels perception of Theresa May is, given the questioning from Jeremy Paxman that because of her policy reversals, her U-turns over the last few months, she might be seen as weak when it comes to negotiations. Do you think that's realistic from the Brussels perspective?
I think the rhetoric from Brussels has certainly been, it doesn't really matter what happens in this election as long as we have a government to deal with. I think, honestly, Theresa May has shown herself to be quite willing to be adaptable and be flexible if there is an issue that is going well and if there is issue that is not going well. So I think what you have there is a negotiator. If you look at what Europe wants, yes, there is the ideological position that there will be no compromise over things like the single market. But Theresa May has been very clear on her red lines over immigration, jurisdiction of the ECJ. I don't think you can say the same about the Labour manifesto. So Brussels, their view will be, we need someone we can rely on in this negotiation, no matter where the positions are, and the UK is leaving. So there is a gap between what the EU wants and what the UK wants, but really the personality they want to deal with is someone who's consistent and is able to deliver on the deal that is negotiated in the Commons.